Tonight on The Roast, two journalists arrive at Christmas Island on an asylum seeker boat, and Craig Emerson calls for Kevin Rudd to quit politics. But first, here's Mark Humphries with a quick look at today's other headlines.
With the Australian Motoring Enthusiast Party the likely winner of the final Victorian Senate seat, footage has emerged of its candidate Ricky Muir flinging kangaroo poo at his brother. It's the most embarrassing thing to happen to Australian politics since the Australian Motoring Enthusiast Party. Here's the soon-to-be honourable Ricky Muir.
This is kangaroo poo. Yum yum.
Don't! The Honourable Senator from Victoria is reminded that parliamentary shit-flinging is a purely metaphorical concept. Explain yourself, Ricky.
Before all this came around, I was just an ordinary Australian, and you know, my past does not represent how I am now, and it has nothing to do with the party. So, the past is the past.
And poo is poo. But maybe you're right, Ricky, and the past is the past. We all remember how Robert Menzies recovered from that video of him teabagging his friends and went on to become a successful Prime Minister. What's that? That didn't happen. Well, in that case, you're on your own, Ricky, unless you have a better explanation.
Well, people play.
No, flinging shit is how monkeys play. Senator Ricky Muir, you play like a monkey.
If you haven't spent much time in the bush, you go out there, you discover there's poo everywhere, you know, man.
Yes, on your hands. Yuck! Meanwhile, the Australian Sports Party, where every day is gala day, also has a candidate who looks likely to win a Senate seat. Wayne Dropulich appeared on ABC's 7:30 program last night like a real politician. Here he is clarifying where the Sports Party stands on the carbon tax.
Mr Dropulich, do you recognise Tony Abbott's mandate?
Yeah, well, if we make it into the Senate, then all these issues that are going to come up, we'll look at all of them and get all the information that we can and see both sides of the arguments and make a decision on each individual issue that's before us in the Senate.
Translation, I'm out of my depth. And in case you're wondering, Dropulich is spelt D-R-O-P-K-I-C-K. And soon-to-be Senator Dropulich isn't the only one making things up as he goes along. Here's US Secretary of State John Kerry improvising a solution for how the Syrian president could prevent a US military strike.
Sure, he could turn over every single bit of his chemical weapons to the international community in the next week. Turn it over, all of it. But he isn't about to do it, and it can't be done, obviously.
Says you. In true theatre sports style, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov accepted the offer and has now put together a proposal for Syria to place its weapons under international supervision. However,
Mr Kerry has since called Mr Lavrov to explain that his comments were not meant as a proposal.
Translation, yeah, that would be nice, but we really want to bomb Syria. Kerry's office further cleared things up.
The State Department, when they asked about this, said John Kerry was really making a quip.
But since the improvised joke is now being treated as a serious proposal, there's hope that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict could be solved by playing scenes from a hat on Whose Line Is It Anyway? And finally, former Victorian Premier Steve Bracks has been sacked from his new role as New York Consul General before he even started. It's Yasmin's getting married all over again. In fact, the Bracks firing was Julie Bishop's first act as Foreign Minister-elect. Sorry, Syria conflict, can you hold for a second? I just need to fire a guy because I can now. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thanks, Mark. Next up tonight, two New York Times war correspondents, an American reporter Luke Mogelson and Dutch photojournalist Jol van Oot, have arrived at Christmas Island after 3 days on a boat with asylum seekers. Now, the pair was said to be heavily sunburnt, which is awful, but also said to be not asylum seekers, which is great. Although not for the coalition, because not only have they already failed to stop the boats, now those boats are arriving with a built-in press office. And it's an impressive one, with photojournalist Jol van Oot's girlfriend, Amy Ferris-Rotman, explaining that Jol had been embedded with the US Army and the Afghan Army, and yet it was this trip that gave her anxiety. This trip, one that children sometimes take, gave her more anxiety than a war zone.
Hello? You want me to cover what? How asylum seekers get to Australia? Hell no, I'm not suicidal. I'm gonna stay here where it's safe.
But why would a war correspondent cover an asylum seeker issue in Australia? Well, it is easy to get the two confused when you consider we are imprisoning people fleeing war-torn countries, describe the situation as guarding our borders from invading hordes, and have the coalition's plan to put the asylum seeker issue in the hands of a three-star general. But more embarrassing for the government, I'm not sure Christmas Island Immigration Detention Centre is really ready for visitors, especially ones who can take revealing photographs and, because they arrived with valid travel documents and visas, then leave whenever they want.
Hurry up, come on, you're all about to spend years on Christmas Island. Is that a camera?
No, it's not.
Where every day feels like Christmas. Okay, let's start the guided tour, away from the giant prison.
Well, maybe things will finally change once we've been shamed by a prestigious international publication like the New York Times. So long as the article isn't some sort of puff piece like 10 things to do on Christmas Island, because that'd be disappointing. Anyway, finally tonight, with Labor now out of government following a vitriolic election campaign and years of infighting, the one silver lining is that the toxicity of the Rudd-Gillard era is finally behind them.
Former Minister Craig Emerson has hit out, accusing Kevin Rudd of treachery and saying his continuing presence in the Parliament will destabilise the next Labor leader.
Oh, come on! One day? You couldn't go one day without putting Rudd back in the limelight? All right, what did Mr Emerson say?
Kevin Rudd should move on. He has proved himself to be a destabilising influence within the Parliamentary Labor Party. Kevin Rudd destabilised Laurie Brereton as Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister. He destabilised Simon Crean as Opposition Leader. He destabilised Kim Beazley as Opposition Leader. And he destabilised Julia Gillard as Prime Minister.
Wow! So all this time, Kevin Rudd was the destabiliser. No wonder no one's put their hand up to be the next leader of the Labor Party. As Greg Combet explained,
the new leader cannot be looking around and seeing, over their shoulder the spectre of that division in the form of Kevin Rudd or anyone else.
Yeah, I guess that would be unnerving.
Hey, honey, maybe I should run for leader of the Labor Party. No, Kevin. Wait, no, I didn't mean it. Kevin, I was just joking.
Gotta see!
You've always got to keep your eyes on Rudd. I mean, just ask Bill Shorten, who's currently tipped to take over the top job. As the man who first helped remove Rudd from office, then allied with Rudd to remove Julia Gillard from office, Shorten knows better than anyone how important it is to never take your eyes off Kevin Rudd.
It is in the best interest of the party for Kevin Rudd to leave the Parliament.
Surely that's game over.
I've spoken to Kevin since the election. I've got no doubt that his intention is to stay.
What does it take to get this guy to quit politics? He has already been stabbed in the back, subject to countless insults. He's been voted out of government, and he barely won his own seat. He's basically the Rasputin of the Labor Party.
Yes, he cannot be killed by any means known to man. Or at least the Labor Party. God knows they've tried enough. I've brought this convenient chalkboard to help me explain.
Oh, great.
So, Rudd is elected to the House of Representatives in 1998. Then in 2001, he becomes Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs. In 2004, he loses an election under current leader Latham. In 2006, he defeats Kim Beazley in his own leadership spill. Then in 2007, he wins an election, ending 11 years of Liberal government, only to be brought down by Gillard in another leadership spill. 2 years later, he spills back and loses.
Nick, why are you just drawing shapes on a chalkboard?
Oh, I am trying to explain politics to you, Tom. Oh, right. Then there's another spill that Rudd didn't stand for, but Simon Crean lost. And then June this year, he spills one more time and wins, just in time to lose the election last Saturday. And now Rudd's right back where he started, on the backbench in opposition, with the party having recently lost an election. And who is Labor concerned will sit on the backbench and distract everyone from the task of bringing the party back together? Well, if I just add a line here and a little squiggle down here, a little bit over here and make this all perfectly round, why, it's Kevin Rudd! And he's blowing a kiss to a little pot of snakes.
So if he keeps destabilising a party that's already pretty unstable, will they likely, revoke his membership and make him an independent?
Oh, no, Tom, this is Kevin Rudd. Kevin 07, Kevin 13. He's been running as an independent for years. That's never gonna work.
Okay.
Anyway, it's time for me to go. Goodbye, Miss Tom.
Oh, goodbye, Nick.
I will return when Rudd leaves Parliament.
Oh, all right. See you never. Good night.